I remember the window, and I remember it was pitch black in there.
Okay.
Like, I could not see inside that room. It was pitch black.
The gunman fires through the door of one of the classrooms, grazing Staff Sergeant Canales and Lieutenant Martinez.
Am I bleeding? Am I bleeding? Am I bleeding?
I started feeling like blood or something, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Shot? What's going on?" And Javier was like, "Hey, I feel like, you know." So we both kind of retreat back a little bit towards where we were fairly injured, and we kind of turned around. We were just like, I didn't know if this guy was gonna come out.
Surveillance footage shows Lieutenant Martinez going back down the hallway alone, then returning to where other officers are positioned.
The first few moments of a response is crucial, is what experts said. This is the best moment in time to engage the shooter and rescue any victims. So officers initially did that, and then they stumbled back when they're grazed by bullets. And that ends up really setting the stage for the rest of the response. No one tried to go into the room for another 70 minutes.
I honestly didn't think anybody was in there besides the gunman, because and not that, I just honestly thought that they were in the cafeteria, because it seemed like all the lights were off, and it seemed like it was really quiet. I didn't hear any screaming, any yelling. I literally didn't hear anything at all, you know, and you would think there was, kids would be yelling and screaming.
Officers after officers said that because it was so silent, they didn't hear any screams or any indication that a child was inside that wing, that they believed it was empty, even though it was the middle of a school day on one of the last days of the semester.
We couldn't hear the kids. We couldn't hear him shooting anybody or anything like that. So I guess that's why they were waiting to make entry, because we didn't know what was going on in there. It was too quiet.
I guess in your mind, did you think there was kids in that room?
I knew there was a possibility because of the school, but I didn't know for sure that there was kids in the room. Again, it was really quiet, and I know, I went to elementary school. You have your little your science class where you walk out, or PE, or at different times of the day, and hopefully other activities. I know it was also the end of the year, so I was like, maybe they're doing something else, not in their classrooms. But that was kind of wishful thinking.
Man, that hallway was so quiet after the shots were done. You could literally hear yourself breathing. You didn't hear any kids. You didn't hear any teachers. Nothing. I do remember even asking Pete, "Hey, is this building clear? Is it just maybe one or two classrooms?" And he's like, he said, I do not know, because like I said, you didn't hear anybody.
I don't hear any screaming. And usually I would think, I put myself in a position of being that age, I'd probably be like, oh,
yeah, I mean, it's fight or flight.
No screaming, no yelling, and it's almost like, okay, maybe this place is empty.
Children and teachers are taught to be quiet during an active shooter threat. That is their best defense to stay alive. So what the children and teachers told us and investigators is that they followed that training. So what we found was kind of this incredible contrast. The children and the teachers followed their training, but by following their training and staying quiet, that actually meant that officers thought they weren't there, and it took longer for them to help them.